All right, so I got this back apart again. I just want to make a video about it this time. So the Rogue Sport or Qashqai. This is a 2017, but it's the same for all years. It's for a crank, no start, and no code. It gives a P0626 code, which has nothing to do with the alternator in this case. It's actually, the issue is right here. This is, I guess, what they kind of call a hidden fuse box. This is the driver's side wheel well. It's this relay right here, VINJ relay. It's either the relay is bad or the connection is bad. Like the pins aren't holding the relay properly. I'll show you it right here. And then also, this is the first time I've seen this too. These are these 4 fuses right here. This one is like cooked. I don't think it's blown though. Let me see. I can't even tell. It's not good, whatever it is, so I'm going to replace that fuse. And then this one actually looked pretty corroded on one side, but here's the relay right here. So this is actually right there. You see that bracket right there? So you push those 2 tabs, this whole block slides up, and then you can actually reach it through here. I have no idea how I figured this out. So if you remove this relay right here, right there, it's going to do the exact same thing that I'm guessing you probably had intermittent issues with. This thing's all soaked. I obviously went through a hell getting this to figure this out. That's why this thing is just all, you know, soaked in different kinds of cleaners and greases and stuff. But yeah, it's that relay right there. You know, part number. I'll show you the part number 2, actually from the old one. That's why this is all broken. So yeah, if you pull that relay, it'll be a locked-in P0626 code, which actually, what I believe this is doing is, this is what sends a signal to the high-pressure fuel pump inlet solenoid. So you're not actually getting the proper fuel pressure to the high-pressure side of the fuel pump when this is having intermittent issues. And unfortunately, it doesn't throw a code for that. So unless you have, you know, higher end scanning equipment, there's really no way to figure this out. Because it's crank, but no start. So it's not killing spark. I think it's actually just not, and I think it's still trying to inject fuel. Actually, you know what? I think it's not trying to inject fuel, because it sees that that solenoid isn't operating, but there is still pressure upstream of the fuel injectors. So that's what it was. Okay. So I'm gonna put those fuses back. I'm gonna clean that. That's just like dielectric. I'm gonna clean all that up and put those fuses back in. That's a blank, and then I think the second one down is a blank. So, or a spare, but yeah, it's not that fuel pump high pressure relay. That's misleading. And there's no code for fuel pressure, no code for the fuel pump, no code for anything other than P0626. So it's almost like it was intentionally misleading. Here's that relay right here. Here's the part number of the old one. So I'm having issues again, so I think this is just a connectivity issue. I can't believe this new one's not even a year old. So let's see here. So I know this one was bad. I took it out and put the new one in, and it started right up, 0 issues, and I have not had 1 issue until last night. So $252307996A. There's like $15 on eBay new. So you're really gonna pull your hair out with this one if you don't know this. Yeah, so you do actually have to, I think mine's actually torn, but you would have to take these bolts off underneath here. I think they're like Torx head. Yeah. Yeah, hope that helps. That's the fuse box and its location. Yeah, so that's another thing too. This is, the computer really does not like this code. So it's gonna store fixed. I'll drive it to make sure, but I can already tell. So it's like weird idling issues, limp mode, no start, crank but no start, P0626 code, which everything you find online says it has to do with an alternator. It has nothing to do with the alternator. So if you change your alternator and it fixed it, that's not what it actually was. This connection with the relay just started working again at the same time. Let me get this back together. I broke all the clips on the fender, of course, because they're aftermarket. And as you can see, they all just snapped off completely, and I think I only have one. And I'm really not trying to drive without fender liners. I guess it's only 8 o'clock. I could probably get to O'Reilly or something before they close. So yeah, let's get this back together, and I'll do that now. And that'll be the test drive too. All right. Yeah, another thing I wanted to point out too before I forget, another way to tell that this is about to happen, you'll have kind of a delayed start. It will start, but it'll be like, you know, a fraction of a second longer than it usually should take. So if it starts cranking, you know, an extra revolution or two, you know, half a second, just any bit longer than you're used to it cranking, this is what's causing that. And it's going to leave you stranded. This will actually kill the car, and you know, you'll be at a light, in traffic, and you'll go to press the pedal and you don't even realize that the engine died. This will kill the car in traffic. This will kill the car on the highway. This will leave you stranded for 3 days. Yeah, this is really bad. So if you notice this at all, especially if you have this code alongside with it, you've got to look into this. See that? That's a normal crank right there. Normal crank. Normal. Another thing to see this, see how that's all torn like that? Don't buy interstate batteries. Found out the hard way after about a year of driving around with a bad battery. That battery was basically boiling for a year, and that's why my cat couldn't be in the car without crying instantly. So this is let me show you. That high pressure relay is right here. It's right underneath this 90-degree elbow right here. And that foam, and the connector is actually on the back. It's a 2-pin connector. If you do, you don't have to screw around with this at all, but if you do, be very careful with this hose. This is actually a replacement, and it's soft, but these harden up, and this will break off right here, and the car will basically not run at all without that, or run very poorly. So be very careful when you take that off. It's just, you know, one of these two, you can, you know, disconnect either one. And then this right here, that clamp, but I've noticed that you don't really have to squeeze that. It just kind of comes, it slides out. It's not a very tight clamp. And then these are just 3, it's not bolted in. You can pull this off. So I feel like there's supposed to be another cover there, maybe not, but yeah, it's just a 2-pin connected to that solenoid. That's actually driven by the camshaft. And here's the high pressure fuel line coming out right here. And then down to the rail, which is this cover right here. And then the injectors are behind that. So that's what this wire, I mean, I thought I had a bad, this is, you know, last year, I thought it was, everything online says it's an alternator. You made my own connector. I just, you know, was really pulling my hair out over this. And that still works just fine. From what I can tell, that connector only basically tells the computer that you have voltage. I believe it'll still charge the battery with that disconnected, but that's a side note. And yeah, and so yeah, you cannot get to this at all from up here. You have to, even if you take all this stuff off, there's another fuse box right here. Even if you can't even move that, even if you unbolt that on the bottom, which is already really hard to do, you can't get to this. You have to go through the bottom. So normal start. Oh yeah, perfect fix. Sweet. So I don't know if it's the location of that box. It just gets some kind of vibrations that these pins don't like. I really don't know. I mean, I haven't really had any rain or water. Haven't pressure washed in that area. But for this to happen again, it just seems kind of strange. So. So that lasted about 24 hours. They actually had the relay in stock out of Riley. It just started messing up again. So I think maybe that relay is already bad. So I'm gonna change this and then see if it lasts more than 24 hours. So $31, they actually had it in stock. And I'm gonna replace all those fuses too. Just doing this in the parking lot here. Just want to make another follow-up. So it's been about 24 hours, a few hundred miles since I got that new relay yesterday evening, and it's running, you know, great. Starts right up, no issues whatsoever throughout the whole RPM range. And I did notice this time when I took out that relay after cleaning the terminals, when it seemed to have failed again, it was like not so hot that you couldn't touch it, but it was hot, and it was hotter than just, you know, the other components around it. So there's something internally happening to that relay that's causing it to fail like that, and I'm not sure if it's a problem with the car or if it's kind of by design. Just want to do, I guess, final follow-up. This thing is running like better than ever. It's very, very smooth, very good power. These are actually like quick cars. Yeah, I mean, revving all the way to 6,500 pretty much. It's 84-degree day. That when this relay is not functioning properly, these engines do not like to rev that high. So I'm imagining if the fuel pressure is just kind of erratic, it just can never like dial it in properly. That's my theory on this. Got the AC on. Check engine lights for something different. That's a P015 alpha. How this thing should run. I'd recommend this relay, this import direct relay, as a performance upgrade. It's like the best this engine's ever ran. So I guess I just wanted to do hopefully a closing video as to why do I think that this VINJ relay and the high pressure fuel pump solenoid are related. I don't actually remember why I think that. I do know that it's fuel, because if it's doing its crank no start and you put something flammable in the intake, I mean, just pour a little bit of gas in or anything else, it will actually start temporarily. So it's cranking, it's sparking, but it's just not emitting fuel through the fuel injectors. So I guess I don't actually know what sends the signal to fire these injectors, and when it does that, how it times that. But regardless, it is running very, very well with this this new relay in there. So this is like kind of a surprise to me. I definitely didn't know that it could run better like this, but it's definitely an improvement on the higher RPM range. So I think I've said before, but we've had this car since brand new, and it was my wife's car, but we've I've driven it a lot, and really the last 50,000 miles have been pretty much all me. And I've maintained it the whole time. CVT fluids been changed with AMSOIL twice, and then always people say, you know, don't do 10,000 mile oil changes, but my question then back is it 10,000 or is it 30,000? Because there's a big difference. So this has been around 10, not more than 12,000 its whole life. And it's, I mean, I took the valve cover off maybe 20,000 miles ago, and this, you wouldn't even be able to tell that this engine has this many miles on it. It looks brand new. Oil still comes out relatively clean at 10,000 miles. I use the Pennzoil Platinum. I've used Platinum, Ultra Platinum, and Platinum High Mileage, all 0W20 on this, and Royal Purple 0W20. And I think when it was brand new, I was still using AMSOIL, but I don't use that anymore. And I use the Pennzoil Ultra Platinum 0W40. I switched the GTR to that too. So I'm completely away from AMSOIL except for the specialty fluids like CVT. I consider, you know, transmission fluid, power steering fluid, that I call those specialty fluids. So I still use AMSOIL as much as I can for that kind of stuff. But I do use Royal Purple. Actually, I use Royal Purple, I think, more than AMSOIL right now. So pretty much Royal Purple and Pennzoil are pretty much my main two things. I think the only thing I use AMSOIL for is their CVT fluid. And I would do the DCT and the GTR. I'm just not doing that right now. But if I was doing that, I would order AMSOIL DCT. But I mean, if Pennzoil comes out with a DCT, I'll use that 100%. So, or if Royal Purple. So I've been using Royal Purple Max ATF and all of the just, you know, the standard transmission. So non-CVT, non-DCT. I use Max ATF from Royal Purple. They seem to run great, no issues for hundreds of thousands of miles. I mean, not they seem to, they do. So I'm gonna leave this alone. Like I said, I don't remember what I did to narrow this down to, I mean, obviously it was fuel related, but maybe I unplugged the solenoid and it did the same thing a year ago, or I was unplugging injectors, or I don't remember. But 100% I recommend this relay as simply just a performance upgrade. And obviously if you're having the issue. So all right, well, I just got home, so hopefully that's it. So I'll try and get this edited and posted tonight.